So I am making a commitment to myself that I am at least going to be posting weekly again. So let's just start. I'm going to show you what I have going on today, okay? We roasted a turkey day before yesterday, and now I am using all the bones and any like bits of meat that were left on to make a broth. I've had this going on low all night long, but now that I am up and back from taking kids to school, I'm just going to cut it over to high so we can get a nice boil going with it and make some really delicious broth. We also made this chicken. It's a whole chicken in the Instant Pot that I had cooking. This is the remainder of what's left over of that. So Irby asked if I could make him some chicken salad. So I'm gonna be making some chicken salad for him so that he can take some sandwiches to work with him and have that to eat off the rest of the chicken. And then I'm just gonna take the bones of the chicken and freeze them. Since I'll have that turkey broth, I'm not gonna make a whole other broth. We just don't have the space in the camper to store that many jars of broth. I could freeze it, but also our freezer is pretty full. So I'm just gonna save the bones and I'll make the broth later. We also harvested all of these delicious tomatoes last night. And I'll tell you one thing, our garden may not have done that great this year. Tomatoes are our thing, because we have had an abundance of tomatoes and I'm not mad at it at all. So I'm gonna try to figure out what I want to do with these. I may just freeze them, but part of me wants to kind of make like a pasta sauce for dinner tonight, so we'll see. We'll see. Let me get the broth done first and then I'll decide what to do with those. But I would like to do some type of pasta dish. I don't know. I also wish I had some zucchini to throw in to the sauce. I know I have some squash. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. And just kind of hide some veggies in there. I have some onions I need to use. I think maybe I will make a spaghetti sauce tonight. We'll see. So I've posted shorts on this, but as far as since I've done a new video, we haven't really updated you. So I figured I would show you guys the progress we have for the house. We got the rebar done, and as you can see, we also had the footers poured. It has since stormed, which is why there's red clay on there, but they have been poured, and such an exciting step because this really it felt like it was taking forever, and it's finally done, and I'm so happy that it is. We still have to like clear out this middle section here, obviously. This is going to be like underneath the house, and our next step after this will be to get the block put in. So that's another really exciting step, because kind of once that happens, it's, you know, things start moving a bit faster. So that's always a plus. Let me show you guys where we put our handprints in. But we put our handprints in here. There's Irby's, mine. My oldest son did not want to participate because he is 16 and too cool for stuff like that. And then Cadence, Isabel, and Ethan. And we just did the year and then the year that we were married. So also one of our cats decided to add her own little touch in there before it was dry, but obviously that's going to be covered up once we do the block. But we thought it would be really cute just to kind of have put in the foundation of our building. I heard a loud noise. I realized I forgot to close the door to our building. You have to latch it, and it's really windy today. Anyways, but we got all of that done, and so that's a huge step. All this here that's growing up again, we're gonna have to clear out. That's still like a ways away, but that will be our front yard technically. And so we'll have like a big porch out there. We're gonna grow grass, just grass. There won't be like any gardening or anything there. But we'll eventually have like our outdoor kitchen, pool, that kind of thing out there. This also needs to be swept and sprayed off again, but it has been raining a lot. But you can see here we've used some of the extra concrete we had left over to make like this mini outdoor kitchen. It'll just be a patio later. But we got our smoker that we've been cooking on, and we cook on the Blackstone out here all the time to make so many different meals. We've enjoyed cooking outside so much lately. And it's so much easier. Like, I don't know why it feels easier. I guess because we have this open space and the camper is just small and my kitchen is tiny, so it's nice to have like a big open area again. I don't know, but it's been really nice and we've enjoyed it. We've also unfortunately had a really tough time this week on the homestead. We have had issues, major issues with coyotes. We knew that we had coyotes out here just at the very end of our property, but just this past week we realized how big of an issue it was. And I don't know if it's because, you know, the mamas are like, the babies are starting to get older and now they're out hunting. I don't know, but it's been a rough week. So earlier this week, one came running down. You can see we have our power line set up here. Well, at the end of this, our neighbor's property is over there across the road. But this area is where we had cleared for our power, and I was standing in the camper washing dishes and I see something running through the window and I realized, oh my god, it's a coyote. And as you guys know, we had some of our chickens free ranging during the day, and apparently we're not going to be able to free range like we thought we would, at least not until we get this problem figured out. But that one coyote got our rooster and then those 4 hens that we had up here, and then we had a few others that were further down on the property. And I don't know if it was the same coyote that got them that same day or if it was another coyote that had just came after it. I don't know. But we went walking around and realized that we only had 2 other roosters and 1 hen left that were out of our free ranging our free ranging chickens. And unfortunately, one of those roosters was like one of our absolute favorites, which is unfortunate for all of them, but it hurts more for him because he was the son of one of our original roosters that we had back at our old house, and so it was just kind of special to have him here. But either way, yeah, so it wiped out a ton of our flock. Thankfully, we still have plenty of our chickens that are in 2 separate coops, but now we're just gonna have to keep them all locked up, and I hate that because I really enjoyed getting to free range, at least for now, until we can figure out a different plan. And we'll still let them out once we get like a bigger run built, but we have to make sure it's more secure because they also at night, I think it was 2 nights ago, pretty sure, they dug underneath our goat pens and were able to get under the goat pen. Thankfully, the goat setup is completely, you know, coyote proof, and they have not been able to get in there, but we've kind of had to reinforce the fencing with blocks and everything to keep them from going underneath. So that sucks. It really sucks, and it was really sad, and I hate it, and I really wanted to be able to free range, but they've made it known that they are not gonna play nice, and we're really sad and upset about that. So we have to just keep working to plan and figure out how to, number 1, get rid of them from our property, but number 2, how to keep the animals here safe and protected from them even more. Look at how good our broth is looking. It's boiling up really nice. I'm still gonna have this going for hours, and I'll have to go through and add more water to it and everything, just so we get that really rich, flavorful broth that I'm super excited about. I know I said I wasn't gonna do anything with this chicken, and I'm technically not. I'm just straining off the delicious broth that was made from us cooking that chicken last night, because I cannot let that go to waste. But I'm not gonna go ahead and do anything with the bones. But look at how delicious that broth looks. That's gonna be really yummy in something, and I'll have to use it soon though, because I'm not canning it. I was looking for something in my fridge, and I realized that I still have the turkey neck and like organs and such that I meant to put in with my broth this morning and completely forgot, or last night rather. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss it in, because I think I'm gonna let this broth go for like at least another day in the crock pot, and it'll be fine. And more liver. I'm just gonna cover that up and let it keep cooking. Just push that down a little bit. Oh, that's hot. But that's gonna cook up really nice. So I have decided to go ahead and use our tomatoes to make a sauce for some pasta, a pasta dish tonight. But that also means that I need to get some French bread made because we do not have any bread, and so I've got to make some. I've got my yeast. I'm not going to do sourdough. I'm just going to do just using regular yeast, and so I got to get that yeast blooming so that my dough can set, because it's like, what time is it? It's 1:30, so we have plenty of time, but still, I'm going to go ahead and get that started so that we can have some nice yummy bread with our spaghetti tonight. For our spaghetti sauce, I'm just gonna blanch the tomatoes, and then that way it just gets the skin off, because I still have several hours that I can cook the sauce down. I'm gonna put it in a pan. I think I'm gonna go see if I can find some zucchini. If not, I'm probably gonna just dice up some squash and onions and stuff to add to the sauce, just to add some more vegetables and stuff in there. Our dough has definitely doubled, so I need to get to making the loaves of that and shaping them and everything so they can be ready to go and be cooked. So I'll do that before I even get the tomatoes done, probably, and then get them put into the oven. So jiggly. So I came out to the freezer to get these squash, and I'm not loving how our food saver thing, I don't know if I did it wrong. It's a new food saver, so maybe I just did it wrong, but there's like so much air in here, and it's not supposed to be. So I don't know if that was user error or if that's on them, but I'm definitely gonna have to take a look at that because this is not good. I've got my loaves kind of shaped. They're going a little wonky, and that's okay. I could have added a bit more flour to make these more firm, but I think they're going to turn out really good and be just really soft and really good loaves. So I'm going to let these sit for a while to not double, but I'm going to let them get a bit bigger before I start them in the oven. But I think they're going to be delicious. This is a new recipe that I've tried. It's pretty similar to the other recipes I've done before, but it definitely wasn't. I had to add more flour on my own already, but we'll see. I'm about to turn these tomatoes off. They've been sitting in here for a couple of minutes. I'm just waiting for the skin to kind of crack on the sides a little bit more, but they will be ready after that. Irby's home, but we wanted to show you the tomatoes. I showed you our harvest, but look at how many green tomatoes, and one almost red already, that we have.
That's almost overnight.
Still going. Yeah, that one was green yesterday. But we have so many in here that are still growing.
And we still have plenty of blossoms.
And up here, yeah, we have more blossoms everywhere.
At least a dozen, right, like without trying.
Yeah, we ended up tying these up with this just cord, just tying them up here, and then we tied this really tall one up on the top. We still haven't gotten our greenhouse cover over it just because our tomatoes were doing so good, so we weren't gonna we weren't gonna cover them up, obviously, but boo. But I honestly, I'm so shocked that that these grew this much, because these were the ones that were like,
the runts?
Like, yeah, they were looking awful. Didn't think they were even gonna grow hardly at all. This one here was the one that was like literally looking dead. Now, it has produced us one tomato, but still, that's better than nothing. But for the rest of these, they all pretty much looked, they didn't look as bad as that one, but they looked pretty bad, and I had no clue that they were gonna look this good. still in September. So we're doing good.
Yep.
We're good at tomatoes. Potatoes, we need work.
You literally took it
But,
right out of my mouth.
but we can grow some tomatoes. And the funny thing is, we've barely watered these. I have watered them, not even a full watering, other than when I planted them. I think I've maybe watered them one time.
I watered them once also.
And so 2 times being watered after they were planted, and they've done this well. So I'm happy, very happy with these. And we've already made tons of different stuff out of them. We had fried green tomatoes. I'm making the sauce today. So yeah, hopefully these will keep going at least for a bit longer. It's starting to get cooler, so I'm not sure how long they'll last, but we'll take them for as long as they'll go. Also, I have some mint down here that I've been growing. I need to transplant these because they're not going to grow very well in these tiny containers, but at least it's doing good. And obviously I'm not going to plant it in the ground. I have one pepper plant here that has been like taken over by a spider web. I keep clearing the spider web out every few days and it just keeps coming back. But I doubt we're going to get anything from that this year, and that's okay. I did plant some, oh, they're coming up. They are coming up. I planted some marigolds, I believe, in here. And you can see them sprouting up through there. There's some little bitty tiny ones right there. But they are starting to come up. I probably planted them too late. No, I think I planted them. I think I planted them on time. I don't know.
It'll be okay because we're going to cover over this.
Yeah. So I got some of those going just because I've heard they keep pests away and all that stuff. So those are growing good too.
Here's the hog trap we got. Currently trying to catch coyotes because they've just been decimating our flock. But what it is it's 2 cages from ABC Tote with a separate cage and just one of these things on the back. It's got a hook on the ground. And it's got a cord, runs up to a pulley with a piece of plywood. And when it gets tripped, that comes down. You know, if something wants to get out, it's gonna get out, but it at least gives me some time to come down here and handle the situation. I do have bait in there right now. Unfortunately, it's not what I wanted to have in it, but it's what I had readily available as a byproduct of these coyotes coming around. So I set that yesterday. There are some tracks, so I guess it's just not stinky enough yet. Well, who knows? Maybe there's a hog that goes in it. You see all these limbs and stuff right here? Yeah, so we might have a party. If you want a ticket, it's gonna cost $100 a piece. So, no, I'm just joking. Now, I'm gonna use some of those logs. I'm letting the pine boring beetles do the thing and removing the bark for me. But yeah, give you an update.
So I overproofed the bread just a little bit. So it didn't, it's not as fluffy. It's still gonna taste great, but I don't think I'm gonna go with this recipe again, just because I think it would have turned out better had it been a different recipe, but it's still gonna be delicious. Our pasta is looking amazing, and it's a nice chunky sauce. I didn't want too much sauce to noodles. Sometimes I add more, but I wanted it to be more chunky and less like super saucy. And I added our meat in there. It's gonna be so good. It looks delicious. So that's our dinner. So it's day 2 of our turkey broth, and it is looking and smelling amazing. This is a smoked turkey, so it's gonna have a bit of a smoky flavor, which is different than broths we've done before, but I think it's gonna taste amazing. I am just gonna let this cool a bit and get my jars ready. We unfortunately don't have a pressure canner, so I'm not gonna be able to pressure can it, which would have been like ideal, but I can at least get it jarred up and put in the fridge. I can also freeze some and go that route, but until we get a pressure canner, that's what we have to do. So hopefully we'll be able to get one of those soon. I know I told you guys yesterday that we only had 2 roosters and 1 hen. I lied. we actually have a third. Here is our third rooster. You can see him back there. Hello, Boots. Hey, Marley. But this is our third rooster. He's literally just here for companionship to the goats. That's his job. That's what he does. So he's got a pretty easy life out here. Good morning, Boots. I've got to get this all cleaned out. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're so tough. You're so tough. Such a tough boy. Marley. Hey, Miss Marley. But I've got to come out here and get these cleaned out and put new hay and everything in there. Hey, Marley. Hey, Marley. Hey, Boots. Uh-oh. It's a piggyback ride. But I've got to get this cleaned out and new hay put in here. It is way past due on theirs and on the boys. So that's a project that we have to do within the next couple of days. Hey, boys. And Clover. Another one of our projects next is going to be to expand this fence out further so that they can go out there and graze on that open pasture too. Not quite sure exactly when we're going to do that, but it does need to be done. And we need to build our separation here and put fencing up there to separate the boys from Miss Marley so they will leave her alone. But we need to get her a female companion too, because Mr. Boots is going to be going very soon. Aren't you, buddy? Now you want to say hey and let me pet you? Now that I've closed you up? Clover. Look at how the boys have gotten so big. This is our one lasting squash plant. This was full bloom yesterday and it just fell off. It has made so many blooms, as did the other one that was beside it, but we never got any plant from it at all whatsoever. I just don't think it had enough deep, rich, good nutrients, nutrient rich soil. And so it's just part of our learning process. So next year will be better. We've learned a lot, still have tons more to learn, but next year will be better. And next year, oh, scared me, it was a cat. Next year will be for tomatoes. We're just gonna do the same thing because the tomatoes have done so well. Also, if you can see, oops, I dropped one. Our muscadines are growing in through, these are not edible berries, but our muscadines are just kind of growing through here. Let me see if I can find more. There's more up through there. And we have a ton of other places that we have muscadines all over the whole entire property. Last year, I didn't really document it very much. I posted a video, I think on one of my TikToks or something, but we went and picked them from everywhere. Irby, even a bit dangerously, had to like cross one of our little gully areas with a ladder. Yeah, anyways, it was crazy. But we got so many muscadines picked last year and made muscadine jelly, and it was so good. So I'm looking forward to doing that again this year. The weather is so nice today. Yesterday it was really hot again after we had our false fall. But today, it is so cool out. It looks like it's probably gonna rain, but it's so nice and cool. And you can see, well, where'd it go? Right here. The leaves on the trees are already changing. There's some yellows in there, some reds. Ugh. I'm so ready for fall. I used to be all about summer. And don't get me wrong, I still love summer. I love spring. Spring's probably my favorite. After gardening in the hot, hot sun, I'm looking forward to it so much. But I'm so looking forward to the cooler weather. But that's going to be all for our video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, just give it a thumbs up. Leave us some comments. I love replying to all the comments. So come say hi. And if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that. We got a lot more coming.